How many pull-ups can you do?
Time to get
Well,
crunk.
he's the least athletic person.
Probably like 1.
Says his mom. So much hope. What are you on?
5.
Hey, say, yeah, he's jumping off.
Get him to jump.
7. Do one more and be like 103 and I'll edit it all together.
Okay.
3.
I'm totally gonna leave that in. All right, so here's a battery mount on this kit of parts chassis that we're still testing out. We're trying to figure out if we want to keep this or not. One thing you notice, move your foot. Get out of here, Gavin. One thing you notice, Aiden's our robot. Go ahead and push it up the corner here. I'll track with it. Go real slow. Here, back up again. Just go right down and stop. So you can see. And again, like, this is our wooden platform, so it could be off a little bit, obviously, because, you know, that. But this is, like, one of the concerns, right? So, you can kind of, it's kind of hard to see. It's contacting right there. But if, you know, Aiden pushes up and down a couple more times, it's not that bad. But that's literally, like, kit of parts chassis, battery, and that's it. So, hypothetically, if we take somebody who weighs, like, 140 something or another, and sits on said robot, right? Look at this. Here, Hunter, take. Why are you videoing it? I'm videoing it. Take this. Just flip the screen the other way. Good job, Hunter. There you go. And then just back up. All right. This is for science. Go ahead and push. Don't go super fast. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can hear that in the camera, but that is like scraping hard. You can actually see like where it's wearing in. And again, this isn't the exact thing, right? But it does just go to show if your robot weighs like 150 and some change potentially, it's gonna scrape a little bit. So here, let's go. Or here, let me do it. I'll go down. All right. Let's see.
Robot done.
So without me pushing it, I did go down. Here, I'll take the camera back. Thanks, Hunter. Without me pushing too hard, just coasting, it did go back down. But again, it's just one of those things you gotta watch out for. So.
Shooter confirmed.
Okay, so it's day 11, right? 11?
Day 11.
11. It's day 12. So, we're kind of at the point, Brandy from 2337 and I were talking about this. Hey, what are you little monsters doing? We're talking about this today. Whew, I'm out of breath because I sprinted outside to go start the Jeep because it's cold. It's like it's not the mid-season hump. It's like you come off seeing the game, you're really excited about the game. You did some prototyping, you're really excited about the prototypes. So now it's when you have to like start making things fit or prototypes aren't working right. And so what ends up happening is you get really kind of like slummed out. No, you don't have to do all on the ground. And so you have to like, you know, recharge your batteries, boost your morale, which is a mushroom. Anyways, up here, let me walk out this way real quick and then turn around. Up here we set up the Chimmy chill zone, which is mostly for Rylan and other little chimneys that are running around, which there's a Wii and all that other stuff. So, hey Rylan, you want to do an episode of MTV Cribs? You don't even know what that is, do you?
You have to come and say, welcome to my crib.
He wasn't even alive for that. So I'm gonna sit down and we're gonna play a round of Mario Kart while my car warms up, and I'm gonna destroy these kids at Mario Kart.
Okay. We're gonna do versus solo.
No, it's about cooperation, guys. Matt's tall enough to be Luigi.
There he is.
Ah, too tall for this shot.
Gavin, which one?
Is it even
Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate Rainbow Road so bad. I'm gonna fall off.
How do you go forward?
Press 2.
Okay.
I thought you said...
Oh, you have to. Oh,
Yeah.
you have to. It's not. It's not a joystick. It's a.
Yeah.
This is stupid.
You haven't played Wii in a long time, have you?
No. How do I use my item?
You can press it down.
Down.
Now you're like invincible.
Yeah, I know the items, Gavin. I just don't know how to drive. I didn't have to tilt my DS. It's garbage.
That's destroying us all. Oh my goodness.
Broken controller.
Good time, you got third.
Huh?
You're on the podium.
I'm on the
How's
podium.
that broken?
As I'm happy about, we got the drivetrain. Like I said, we're not set on this drivetrain 100% yet, but we got it assembled with the proper spacers and everything. Since we made it wider, we ran into some issues with chassis flex and that kind of stuff. For the first time ever, I would say, we have the battery mount on the robot before almost anything else, which it's typically it's like rubber band on or like some really crappy setup. So it's kind of funny that we actually like have that. So let this be like a little PSA, little warning to any team. Make sure you have a battery mount, right? The one we're using is the Vex Driving a Day battery mount kit or whatever. I think Andy Mark sells one too. It's totally worth the money to buy it, be able to throw a bar on your robot, strap it in, and be done and not have to worry about it. Especially in a game where you have to climb and you could potentially be getting bumped by other robots while you're climbing and you get thrown around. The last thing you want is that battery gain knocked out of your robot. Yeah, it's the end game and all that other stuff, potentially, but during the match, you get hit hard enough or something in one of those high-speed collisions, then it's just one of those things you gotta make sure you have a battery in. You know, that's the way you drive your robot, right? You gotta have a battery in it, so.
We saw that last year too, where there were a few climbs where the battery was dangling.
Yeah, well, that happened to us once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one time we had the battery hanging out of the robot, and they came over and was like, you can't have that happen. I'm like, trust me, I don't want that to happen. So we ended up having to adjust our battery strap. And like I said, even our team, we're terrible about two things: bumpers and batteries. So it's really good to get that stuff taken care of early on so you don't have to worry about it, problem solved, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Other than that, I was on the RoboZone podcast the other night, so if there's a link to that, I'll put it in the description. If there's not a link, because it's not out yet before
Right
this
there.
comes out. Huh?
I was
Pointing
to
down.
where you were.
One of the things I mentioned in the podcast is a couple of our design criterias, which is we want to be below, I think I said 40 or 38 inches, which is like our hope, so that way we can drive under the scale in any orientation. Stuff we talked about is I personally don't think you need to use mecanums in this year's game, especially if you are a lower resource team and you don't have the programming capability to use mecanums, right? If you are a lower resource team and you did get mecanums already and you have your heart set on that, my suggestion is get that going now. Like, get it set up, start moving around with it, try to understand it. If there's any teams around you that you know or you can contact and say, hey, we need help, we bought these mecanums, we want to check that out, definitely do that. I don't think you need that game. Our team probably won't use any mecanums or try, like, I don't think we're going to do anything crazy as far as like all Omni wheels or anything like we did last year, but that's still to be determined. That's kind of up in the air.
Just trying to figure out the climb.
Yeah.
We're attempting to do the difficult thing, which is staying out of the way of the robot that will already be climbed. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to package it all. It's not easy to have the weight available to design a robust structure that can support this weight. But that's the fun of it all.
Yeah,
Figure it all out.
Sorry about the bad light level and everything. Camera doesn't do that great in the car, so but I didn't want to just like abruptly end it. I think the clip of showing the weight on the robot, you know, demonstrates some really good information there. I know I've talked a lot about that, but that's just, some people will be like, oh, it's a flat field, but it's not. It's really not a flat field, and I think that's important for teams to be aware of. And like I said, I just can't harp on that enough. So knowing how to, like, number one should always be move. If you can't move, then you can't do anything. You can't even play defense if you can't move, right?
Smash that Y button. Hit
smash
subscribe. Hit like. Hit that bell icon.
Yeah,
Get them all.
That's the reason why Matt's in the vlog now, so that way it's not shameless when I do it. So, thanks for watching, and we will catch up with you later.